Now, today's webinar is our PayTrace 105 Best Practices webinar. And this is one of my favorite ones to do. I like that this is the day before, not to date this, but the day before Halloween, because it is pretty light. But the other cool thing about this is that it's always changing. So I like to keep this webinar in particular very dynamic, in that you're going to kind of learn what's current with PayTrace, right? There's going to be some things that are always going to be best practices, but in this ever-changing industry of payments that we're in, right? It's good to be kind of forward thinking and knowing what is going to help bring you success today versus what worked for you yesterday. So when we look at the agenda for this course, it's going to be pretty simple. We're going to be looking at different ways of finding success using PayTrace. But I think just as important is knowing how can we avoid pitfalls? Where can we minimize or completely just circumnavigate any sort of issues that may arise with our merchant accounts, right? So we're actually going to start with that. We're going to lead in with the headaches. And so putting together my list of most common merchant headaches, rather than going more of the anecdotal route or what does Sam Johnson think are the issues, I went to our support team, talked to our support manager, and I said, hey, I'd love to get some data on why are our merchants calling, right? What are some of the issues that they're running into most commonly, so that I can share with our partners, right? How can we get in front of that? So number one, by far, support reason that people call into PayTrace is login issues. No surprise there. What may be surprising, and I think pleasantly surprising, is that over 50% of our support calls revolve around login issues. Now, you might take that as in, uh-oh, they must have really bad login stuff. I don't take it that way at all. The way that I take that high number is the fact that we have very minimal issues elsewhere. That, yes, the most common thing that we're going to get called on is just getting logged in. Now, just some best practices that you can use to get in front of this with your merchants. Know that we are a PCI compliant product. So if a merchant is using our gateway solution, they do need to reset their password every 90 days. Now, we try to make this as obvious as possible in the fact that every single user, when they hit certain benchmarks in their password, their existing password, we will send them notifications. So when they are 2 weeks out from needing to change their password, we send them an initial email. When they're 5 days, 3 days, day of, we will send them emails saying, hey, get that password changed. But people are people and they ignore it. I do all the time. I wait till it's already expired to actually go ahead and update that. So hypocritical might be a good word for me, but it is very simple to change your password. In fact, you can literally go onto PayTrace's login page, hit the forgot password button, update it from there. But as just a manner of how people do things, if they can't get logged in, they're going to call us. Honestly, it's so easy. We go in and send them a password reset link. It takes 2 minutes. They can get access to it. If you personally have access to your reseller portal, some of you may not, you can do this on your own as well, by pulling up the merchant account, pulling up the user, and clicking the reset password button. So getting logged in is half of it. The other half is actually staying logged in. Again, PCI requires that any sort of idle payment system needs to log out after a certain amount of inactivity. By default, when your merchant accounts are being built and when a user is being added, their idle time, if you will, is set to 15 minutes. So if they leave PayTrace open on a browser for 15 minutes or more without clicking any buttons or doing anything, it will automatically log itself out. That can be a pain, especially if you're not constantly in the system. You don't want to have to log in multiple times per day. So we have worked with our security team to allow it to be bumped up to 30 minutes. Now, if that is something that your merchants would like to take advantage of, it's very simple. I'm going to pull up my own PayTrace account here so I can show you exactly how to do that. what we're going to do is we're going to go to the security settings feature. You'll see it's a tab here on the dashboard. And literally the number one thing on the settings here in security settings is the timeout setting. Again, by default, it's going to be set to 900 seconds. You don't have to do the math. It's 15 minutes. We can maximize that by doubling that to 1800 seconds, equivalent to 30 minutes. So if that is something that your merchant is getting frustrated with, griping at, we've got a fix here. This is the max. 30 minutes will take care of most people. But again, we do want to balance security with usability. So just keep that in mind. So I'm going to leave this idle here for a few minutes at least. So number one, pretty light, honestly. Number two, emails. Now, I mentioned that we'll email your merchants 4 times when those 9 days are coming to an end. And people can get annoyed. Kind of both sides of the equation, right? Either we're getting way too many emails or I'm not getting enough emails. So email management is something that can be addressed within the system, which is pretty nice. And we try to make that pretty simple within PayTrace. So let's say, first example, right? Our merchant has an accounting team and they need to get every email out there. We want to make sure that we're not missing any receipts. We're not missing any reports. We need to have everything, right? But we're not getting it today. Very simple, right? It's a user permission. So we're going to go under user drop-down menu and go to manage email, right? This is something that your merchants can do. This is something, again, if you have access to the reseller portal, you can do as well. Now you'll see by default, we do have one administrative email set up on every account. It needs to get emails, right? We have emails to send out. They need to go to some place. But again, that accounting team, let's go ahead and add them. Accounting at xyz.com. Hopefully that's not a real, actually, let's just do test.com. I know that's not a real email. Now, if they want everything, I'm just going to hit everything, all except API receipts. However, if they want specific reports, right? Maybe they just want monthly statements, virtual terminal receipts, recurring receipts, payment link receipts, API receipts. I'll go ahead and save that. And they've all of a sudden been added. Now, on the other side, right? Maybe somebody set up to get all of these reports and they do not want them, right? They're not the right person for it. Best practice for our merchants are to set up either a general PayTrace email address, right? So PayTrace at merchantcompany.com, whatever that might be, is something I've seen a lot of people do. That way, multiple people can have access to all of that information if they need to. Right, usually like a general catch-all box. Or, right, they can do kind of what we just did here and set it up so that they only see what they need to see. So that's our number 2 most requested issue is email management. Now, lastly, we have had, actually very recently, we've had a lot of requests about card present, right? What types of devices, what types of terminals do you use? Do you support? We're using some, or our merchant is using some that aren't working well, or they're using your virtual terminal today, but we want to add on card present as well. Fantastic, right? What you're seeing here is an image of our legacy terminal that we used to use, this Ingenico device. And I'm not going to lie, it had a bunch of issues. This was back when EMV was cutting edge in the United States. We've upgraded. And surprisingly, a lot of our partners aren't aware of this, but we do have card present solutions. You'll see here are 2 images. We have one for desktop and we have one for mobile. So if your merchant needs a desktop solution, this image is probably pretty close to actual size. On my screen, it's a little big, but it's a pretty cool wedge that plugs into a USB port on a computer. And it just sits on that desktop, and you'll see the slot right up top is where you insert that EMV chip. if you'd like to look into this, this is called the ID Tech Augusta. I don't use the term plug and play very lightly, and this thing is true plug and play. Now, we've had this now for a few years. This has been supported on our system. The reason why it's on today's best practice course is because up until very recently, this has only been available on the TSYS processing network. So if you were a First Data, Fiserv type of operation, right, you've been kind of out of luck. However, we are in the process right now of finalizing our certification. We have live merchants on First Data and are currently beta testing this device and making sure that it is working as it is intended, which so far it is. So if you are a First Data shop, stay tuned because you're going to have access to this very soon. And then also for mobile, a lot of people don't know this. We have a mobile app. It's called PayTrace Go. It's free for any of our merchants to download off of their App Store, Android Marketplace, whatever that might be. And you can process payments on the go. I just literally looked up our app the other day and saw that off of like 500 reviews, we have like a 4.8 star out of 5 stars, which is pretty phenomenal. So we've got a really good mobile app, and it does support card present. One thing that is a bit misleading is we don't support contactless. That little image is a bit of a misnomer for us, but there is an EMV slot on the side of this device. If you'd like more information on this, this is the ID Tech VP 3300. Sounds like a robot, but there it is, right? VP 3300. If you want more information on either of these devices, any hardware that we support, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. So that's looking at the common issues. Now, let's look at some areas that are really good growth areas, right? Oh, I added this one. Downgrades. Wow, this is an old statement. Goodness gracious. Yeah, avoid all this downgrade stuff. I will say level 2 and level 3 and interchange optimization is super important. We do get a lot of questions about qualification. We don't actually see how transactions are qualifying within the gateway, right? That's what the processor should be doing and have visibility into. But if your merchants are seeing any sort of downgrades in the system, they're accepting these B2B credit cards, and you're like, man, why is this rate coming in so high? Why is this downgrading? Why am I seeing non-qual on my merchant statements? Email us, call us, right? We have our support team is very trained on qualification, and we're able to look at transactions that your merchants are processing and being able to see, was all the information added correctly? Very common issue is merchants are not putting in address verification. They're not putting in zip code and address information. You need to. On card not present transactions, merchants need to make that field required. If you're running a bunch of pre-authorizations but not settling them within 24 hours, right, that's going to be an instant downgrade. So knowing some of those qualification values and knowing why those could downgrade, and being able to share that with your merchants is very important. So there you go. All right. And just to follow up on that, you'll see here this little screenshot has a statement analysis tool. We partner with a company called ISOAMP. If you know James Shepard, he does a lot of those YouTube videos, podcasting, things like that. CC Sales Pro is his company's DBA. He's fired up a statement analysis tool called ISOAMP that we partner up with him on. I think it's a really great tool. It's pretty accurate. So if you are running into statement issues, qualification things, and you want to get an accurate quote and an accurate statement analysis, I definitely recommend looking up ISOAMP. They are a great partner. Okay, now we're getting into the good stuff, the show me the money section. What are some areas of growth that are occurring in payments that we should be capitalizing on? Number one, and this has been number one for a while, are payment integrations. This is specifically for B2B, by far the highest growth area, right? How can we integrate payments or you'll hear the term out there right now pretty commonly, embed payments into businesses, different business management softwares, right? Whether they're using an accounting software, ERP, CRM, there's all types of different solutions that are out there today, right? How can we make businesses more efficient? So what we've done is we've actually done a lot of work for you to make that pretty simple. In that we've got about 40 to 50 different integration partners today that are open to really anybody to work into PayTrace, into the gateway, where you can connect PayTrace into Microsoft Dynamics or NetSuite or QuickBooks, right? You can see examples of all of our partners here on this page. If you go over to our website, you will see a tile right here on the homepage. When you click on this integrations bug, that's going to direct us to essentially a marketplace that will give you all of the information into our integration partners. I really encourage you guys, if you haven't seen this page yet, take about 10 minutes today. If you have some downtime, and scroll through all the different solutions that we support, right? You may have missed business or lost an opportunity in the past because you haven't had a good solution for any one of these, right? Microsoft Dynamics Business Central, phenomenal. We've got a really great integration partner in Blue Moon for that. You may need a really great Sage 100 solution. Awesome. We've got Arisana and IIG. We're making this simple, right? These are all, for the most part, plug and play solutions so that it's just going to be very quick and easy to get payments added into your merchant's native Sage environment or whatever the heck they're using, right? You don't need to be a technical expert. We have the technical experts in-house to do this. You just need to be able to connect the dots, right? And I will say, usually the merchants that are integrating into these types of softwares are going to be higher volume merchants. They're going to be stickier, right? Once you get payment solutions into their existing software, it's going to be hard to move them somewhere else. Right, that's where most of our efforts are focused on right now. And if you're not doing this today, if you're still doing the traditional kind of virtual terminal sell, you might be missing out. So I would definitely look into this. Payment Link, right? This is a product that we released about 3 years ago, is I think when we updated this. Payment Link. This is our hosted payment fields and hosted payment page product. What I love about this is that this is great for merchants that want kind of like a standalone invoicing tool. However, right, we're finding that there are some gaps in there. It's great for a simple solution to put a button on a website. It's great to be able to email out some type of payment link to a customer that owes you money. The benefits are awesome, right? It's going to create convenience for the merchant, for the consumer. It's going to get those invoices paid quicker. But again, it's a very simple introductory product. You guys are going to get kind of a first quick view on this, but we are launching a new product. You may have noticed on our social channels, we've got a product out there called Trace AR. We're currently in the beta testing process with a handful of merchants that are using this, but this is kind of like the next generation of B2B invoicing. It's like Payment Link in the fact that you can still put the buttons on websites. You can still just email out simple payment requests. But now this tool is going to be an itemized invoicing tool. Merchants can actually go in here, create items, and actually apply those to an invoice. And all of these are trackable, right? When you have an outstanding invoice, let's take Daniel Felix, for example, it says sent, right? So this is still what we'd consider outstanding. I can actually go into the invoice and I can see exactly what time and date we sent this invoice. I can see exactly if and when the customer clicked on that invoice link, right? How many times have merchants had to go, have you received this email or when are you paying this invoice? And the customer says, oh, I never got anything, right? You can actually see that. You can see that, yes, you did receive that. I see that you opened it. Send me money, please. right? Be a little more tactful than that. But this is going to be like Payment Link on steroids. It's going to make invoice management so simple. And on top of that, this is going to integrate into QuickBooks Online natively. So if any of your merchants are using QuickBooks Online, right, they're going to be able to have all the back end of PayTrace with all the support, all of the level 2 and level 3 that we manage today. But they're going to be able to apply that into QuickBooks Online without using a third-party solution. So I'd encourage you guys, you can check out the Trace AR website today. We've got a cool little demo video on there. It's called tracear.app. And stay tuned because we are going to be releasing this to the partner channel by the end of this year is what I've been told. So we'll be having some more information, some more webinars on this in a little bit, but this is going to be what we think is going to be a game changer for a lot of our B2B merchants. All right. And again, one thing that I think not enough of our partners take advantage of is our demos. Our demos are managed by our client support team. And I actually, when I was getting some information on some of our biggest issues, one of the things that I asked is, well, what's our conversion rate? Because we've been tracking that for years, right? When one of our partners and a merchant schedule a demo with us, sales demo, how often are they actually converting into actual accounts? And what we found is that 54% of completed demos that we host end up converting into actual merchant accounts. So over half of merchants that get on the phone with us as a sales prospect, right, will close, which is awesome, right? And what's great for this for you is, I know for some of the new people that are on this call, you're not PayTrace experts, right? This might be a new product for you. Let us be the technical experts. You do what you do best, which is, right, payments expertise and processing knowledge, right? We'll lean on you for that. But as far as the actual, how do things work? How is this going to make your life more efficient, right? Leave that to us. If you'd like to schedule any demos, right? If you have an opportunity, go to our website. Right from our homepage, I'm going to go to contact, right? And then help center. And on this page, you're going to find webinars, all sorts of stuff. But to schedule a demo, right, click on this product demonstration calendar. Typically, this will block out about a day to two in advance. So just give yourself a little bit of lead time. You'll see you've got a couple appointment slots left for Tuesday and Wednesday. Monday's all booked out. I don't think anybody's going to be doing this on Halloween, but schedule that, put in some notes on what type of merchant they are, what they're going to be using PayTrace for, and we'll help you land that account. Again, this is a free resource for you. I say it on every one of our webinars. We want you to be successful, right? Your success is our success. So whatever we can do as a partner to help you with that, we want to. All right. And then just kind of put a bow on this, I did ask for some tips from some of our internal experts, right? Some best practices that they can relay to us today. So I did ask our one of our relationship managers, you know, who works very closely with our sales partners. When you think of who are the best sales reps, what are some of the qualities that make them the best? And one of our RMs said that they believe that it's the sales reps that become expert in a clear niche that make them the most successful. Literally just had a partner that's going to be doing limo, right? Their focus is on limo services. And it's like, yeah, they're bringing on like a couple hundred accounts that are limo instead of taking the shotgun approach that are, I'm going to take anything. I'll do payments for anybody. Now, what we typically see is that the most successful reps and that have the least amount of issues are the ones that deal in a certain industry, right? I'm going to say there's no right or wrong thing to this, but find the vertical that you can identify the pain points that you can speak the most eloquently to, and help them be better at taking payments, right? There's a lot of different ways that people take payments, and every different industry is going to have its different kind of best practices. So find the one that works best for you. Same question to our support manager, right? What makes the best partners the best? And their response, of course, is going to be a little bit more geared towards support, but the ones that have a firm grasp on interchange qualification, processor relationships, and just good overall knowledge in the payments landscape. I'm here, Sam Johnson, I'm here to help you with this, right? But, you know, being able to do a lot of self-education, staying on top of all of the different changes that are occurring, right? Every 6 months, Visa and MasterCard are coming down with new rules. There's things that are happening with surcharging. There's things that are coming out with embedded payments, and just being able to stay on top of that, right? Interchange has had some drastic changes the last few years, which affected a lot of merchants. So staying on top of that is really going to set you up for success. And as always, you know, I've referenced our support team here a few times on today's webinar. I got to give our team huge kudos. We do have the best support in the payments industry. I'm going to say that proudly. When you call us, we're going to answer. All of our support's in-house. We're all in America. We're not outsourcing that to some third party, right? You'll actually talk to a PayTrace employee almost every single time you pick up that phone and dial us. So in a moment, I'll put on our contact information, but that is a best practice, right? Being able to provide the best level of support to your clients, whether that's yourself or whether that's helping us, helping you with that, right, is going to pay off in spades. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and put up some contact information here. If you want to get a hold of us, call that number, type in that email. That's the best way to contact us. I will say I need to update this slide because our support hours are now 5 a.m. to 7 p.m. for phone, Monday through Friday, Pacific time. So for any of you East Coasters or early morning risers that have some requests you want to knock out first thing to start your day, give us a call. We're happy to help you with that. As I look through the questions, please send those in. I will call out my contact information. Again, my name is Sam Johnson. You can reach me at salestraining@paytrace.com. Again, that's salestraining@paytrace.com. I do have a question from Clay. Hey, Clay. Asking about the mobile app. Can that be used in a demo environment? What I always do is you can log in with your test credentials. So if you download the app on your phone or tablet or wherever you want to download that, if you have a Sandbox account, just use the Sandbox credentials and that will get you access to that mobile app. So yeah, feel free to use that, and you can use test cards or whatever so you can play around with it and just get an idea of how that feels. Great question, Clay. And honestly, it looks like that's it. So with that said, let's go ahead and wrap it up. We're right at the half-hour mark. I want to thank you guys. I hope you all have a fantastic and safe Halloween tomorrow. We should have November's webinar calendar coming out probably over the next week, hopefully by the end of this week. So check your email inbox for that or go to our blog if you want to see that information. All right, team, take care.